In every color we unite, together we shine, bring the light. Through stormy weather, through the pain, with open hearts we'll break the chains. It's you and me, we'll stand so tall in the rainbow's embrace, we'll never fall. Hand in hand, we'll share the dream, a tapestry of love woven at the seams. With every hue, our voice is strong, together is one, where we all belong. It's you and me, we'll rise above, in the rainbow's embrace, we spread our love. In every corner of the earth we sing, a symphony of hope that unity brings. With every color, let our love soar, together as one, forevermore.
Good evening and welcome to the Universal Rainbow Faith Church right here in Las Vegas, Nevada. My name is Paula Sadler and I am the founding minister and president of URF. And welcome everyone who is online and watching this evening. Welcome on YouTube and Facebook and TikTok. We are so glad that you're here and joining us this evening and every Sunday at 5:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I hope you enjoyed our opening music. That was Embracing Togetherness, our very first original anthem, and it is available on YouTube under our Sacred Music playlist. You can also listen to it on TikTok as well. And so thank you for joining us again, and for everyone who will be watching this later. Our theme of the month is Sacred Power and Rising from the Fire. And our saint this month that we are honoring is Saint Marsha P. Johnson, the revolutionary of love and liberation. Our focus this week is the prophetic fire, protecting truth and life. And this is week 3, the final week of the prayer, the prophecy, and the power that we have been following. I hope you've been enjoying the previous weeks and also the blog post where these lessons are coming from with our emerging times that we're in and what's happening now in our community, in the country, and in the world. And so welcome everybody, welcome family, so glad that you're here. Let us do our mission statement. Universal Rainbow Faith is a sacred spiritual home where LGBTQIA+ people and allies are fully affirmed, celebrated, and protected. We believe that gender, love, and identity are divine expressions of the Creator. Our mission is to uplift, heal, and empower individuals through spiritual truth, radical inclusion, and sacred community. We are activating the rainbow light of love to affirm the sacredness of every person, especially those long denied, excluded, or erased. We exist to heal spiritual trauma and celebrate LGBTQIA+ diversity and restore dignity to all people across body, mind, and spirit. And we affirm the activating presence of sacred power within us. We are the living light of transformation, resilience, and divine justice. Together we rise with love, truth, and purpose. And so it is. And let us take a few moments and center ourselves and do our centering breath work. So as we breathe in, we remember we are divine. And as we breathe out, we release fear. I release fear. And as we breathe in, we claim our sacred light. I am the sacred light. And as we breathe out, we share that light with the world. I share my light with the world. And so it is. We have a very exciting service lined up for you today with some special announcements. And we're going to get right to that right now. Our weekly announcements for July 6, 2025. As we talked about, we're concluding our powerful series of the prayer, the prophecy, and the power today. And this week, we honor truth tellers and visionaries like Dr. Alexander Kagansky and affirm the spiritual fire within us to protect what is sacred. We call upon Saint Aureon, the Divine Transgender Warrior of Justice and Honor, the spirit of those who silenced for speaking the truth. And our quote this week from The Nature of Miracles, available on Amazon. I write to those who are seekers of truth, who want to have more and more deep experiences that assure them of the divine presence in their life. We are most certainly not alone in this journey here on earth, from page XV. We have some new blog posts. If you haven't checked that out yet, go to universalrainbowfaith.org, and on the right-hand column on the main tabs, you can scroll down to blog, or on the homepage, scroll all the way down to the bottom, click on any of the blog posts to view that one and then see them all. And our latest is a declaration of independence from oppression, a powerful proclamation for freedom, dignity, and the sacred right to exist, and a prayer for America and the world from July 4th, a spiritual bridge in the face of war and division. So please, we invite you to check those out. We're always doing new blog posts and presenting new spiritual insight and wisdom and information and support there on our blog pages. Upcoming new book release, The Garden and the Flame, A Century of Oil, Empire, and Resistance. And this past few weeks, I decided to write a new book based on my remote viewing experience with the truth of what's happening in Iran, Israel, and the United States from a spiritual perspective. And so this visionary spiritual work explores the untold truths behind Iran, Israel, and the United States, revealing over 100 years of war, betrayal, and divine reclamation. Based on my channeled writing and remote viewing sessions, this will be coming soon to Amazon, and there is a new blog post online about that with more information, so check out our blog. We have the 12 Steps for Humanity, a Moral Reckoning. Inspired by 12-step recovery and ancient spiritual law, I'm introducing a global framework for healing and reconciliation, the great 8th and 9th steps of humanity, I call it, calling on governments like the United States and UK to make amends to nations harmed by colonization, war, and exploitation, and right now, especially to Iran. LGBTQ plus health is sacred, and so we have a new LGBTQ plus health collective is forming, created by and for the community. As extremist laws threaten our care, we rise with truth. Gender-affirming care is sacred here at the URF. So stay connected for ways to get involved. We have some new pages under protections, and we're beginning to roll out this beautiful collective plan and vision for a new healthcare system that is sacred and inclusive of all in our LGBT community, and especially for our transgendered family members and children, to make sure they get the care they need and that it is in alignment with the Universal Rainbow Faith sacred tenets, that bodily autonomy is sacred and holy, and that our gender identity and expression is as well. And so please stay tuned for more information on that coming out in the following weeks. And my goal for that is to see everyone in our community to have health insurance and health coverage as we look as Medicaid is being cut, and the Affordable Care Act, services for transgender children and individuals, and the criminalizing of children's gender-affirming care and for adults in more than 26 states. So we must come together as a community, and this proposal for our new Sacred Care Healthcare Collective is now in the works. And I'll be calling on all in our community to become a part of that and join that, and that we empower ourselves, we empower each other, no matter what is happening in the government or the world out there. Whatever they do, we can turn around and turn that into empowering ourselves. If our health care is taken away, we create a new health insurance company and collective and clinics that serve and support our community and allies in ways that take care of our bodies and our needs, from our children to our young adults and to all, and to our seniors and to everyone in between. And we can do this. There is enough money and resources, and the vision is there. So I'm putting that forth, and I'm claiming that today and affirming that. Dreammakers Consulting coming soon. I'm launching my Dreammakers Consulting to offer spiritual coaching, intuitive strategy, business leadership, and visionary planning using my spiritual tools and techniques such as remote viewing, channeled writing, feng shui, animal totems, all of my work in business for over 30 years to effect changes in individual lives for solopreneurs, entrepreneurs, large and small businesses, corporations, organizations, and governments and communities. Soon that will be available at dreammakersconsulting.com, and it's a vision that I've held since 2011, when I came up with the business plan for that, and now finally looking to move forward to offer what I do to help others. So stay tuned for more details. And this month we honor our Divine Guardian Saint Marsha P. Johnson, the Revolutionary of Love. And you can visit all of our saints and divine guardians on our universalrainbowfaith.org. And we are making sure that we are honoring someone each month, someone special in our community, past, and that has given their life or contribution in a way that is so meaningful and has made strides for all of us. And so they offer special guidance, and all of that is on our website with special prayers and affirmations for each one and the spiritual message that they bring. And so Marsha P. Johnson, a Black transgender woman who helped to ignite the Stonewall Uprising, co-founded STAR, and declared her sacred identity with radiant pride. This month, we wear flower crowns, we speak her name, and rise with sacred defiance in her memory. We have our calendar and sacred themes. Our full calendar is universalrainbowfaith.org/calendar, and you can see all of our themes that are there, including this week, the prophetic fire, protecting truth and life. Mark your calendars for next week, July 13th. We have courageous love, standing in truth and justice. And you can explore all of our sacred holidays, holy days, and observances. We have a new worship song that is out. It's I Am the Fire, Protecting Truth. A new original anthem honoring our divine mission to rise with the fallen, defend truth, and walk in spiritual courage. And you can listen to that on YouTube, on our sacred music playlist, and on TikTok. They are there now, and we'll be hearing that today. We do have a very special section coming up a little later on. We're going to do a quarterly review of all that we have accomplished in the past months. So excited to share that with you. Our tithes and offerings, you can support URF with a weekly gift of love. We're building a new world rooted in love, justice, and healing. You can do that online on our donate tab. And we still have some tabs that we are updating, a little slow in the process there, but there are active donate tabs on the homepage. And so please connect with us. TikTok at Rainbow Faith Church, YouTube, Universal Rainbow Faith Church, Instagram, Universal Rainbow Faith, and Facebook. You can email us at contact@universalrainbowfaith.org if you are needing assistance with the website or any of your letters of religious exemption. We are really looking forward to helping our children and young adults and all in our community with schooling or college level or in their work, all the way up to the federal government level, that as a member of the Universal Rainbow Faith Church and community, you are protected with your religious right for your gender identity and pronouns, to request holy observances and days off. And that can be done with your letters, and we do have those available. With radiant faith and sacred fire, we are here for you, the Universal Rainbow Faith Church in Las Vegas, Nevada, and streaming online every Sunday at 5:30. And those are our announcements for this week. And now we have a special saint reflection. We're going to honor Saint Marsha P. Johnson with a special reading. We'll be honoring her life, her legacy, and sacred resistance. And an affirmation. I am radiant with sacred defiance. I rise with love and truth. You can repeat that with me. I am radiant with sacred defiance. I rise with love and truth. As we honor Saint Marsha P. Johnson, the revolutionary of love and liberation, who was born on August 24th, 1945, and transitioned or passed away July 6, 1992. Why we chose to honor her in July. We honor Marsha P. Johnson every July in remembrance of her passing and the enduring flame she left behind. July is a month of both mourning and power. The month when we lost her, and the month when her spirit rises in us to keep fighting. And that couldn't be more needed right now, more than ever. As we face renewed attacks on the LGBTQIA+ rights, especially targeting trans people and children, we call on her strength now to guide us. Who she was. Marsha P. Johnson was a Black transgender woman, a drag performer, and fearless activist who became a central figure in the LGBTQIA+ liberation movement. Born in 1945, she rose to prominence after the Stonewall Uprising of 1969, standing on the front lines of a revolution that dared to say, "We will not be erased." Marsha co-founded STAR, Street Transvestite Action Revolutionaries, alongside with Sylvia Rivera, providing shelter and care for homeless, trans, and queer youth. Known for her radiant smile, towering floral crowns, and outspoken spirit, Marsha lived and died as a symbol of sacred defiance, divine femininity, and the unstoppable power of queer love. Why we honor her now. We live in a time when transgender people are being attacked and dehumanized across the world, especially here in the United States. Radical conservatives and evangelical political movements are criminalizing our bodies, erasing our truths, and calling our divine existence a danger. In this time of war against our sacred identities, we call on the revolutionary spirit of Marsha P. Johnson, who never stopped fighting for the dignity of trans lives, who believed in chosen family, and who declared her name with power and pride. Her sacred energy walks with us still. And how we honor her. From our sacred URF canon of Divine Guardian Saints, her colors are rainbow and bright floral hues, the spiritual guidance. Marsha teaches us to rise in joy, protect the vulnerable, speak truth to power, and trust in divine love. And tributes. You can wear floral crowns, speak her name aloud, donate to trans youth programs, or host a joyful celebration in her name. And our prayer practice, light a candle with flowers surrounding it and say, Marsha, walk with me. Share laughter and resistance in her honor. So we honor you, Marsha, not only with words, but with action, by standing up for transgender youth, by creating spaces of safety and love, by resisting hatred with radiant joy. We place flowers on our altars. We wear our truth without apology. We speak her name in the face of injustice. We become living vessels of her legacy this month. And our prayer, O holy God of liberation and light, we call upon the sacred spirit of Marsha P. Johnson, one of our ancestors, a revolutionary of love. Walk with us in this hour of struggle. Let your courage rise in our hearts. Let your laughter scatter fear. Teach us to speak with fire, to live with joy, and to protect one another. You who crowned yourself in blossoms, crown us now with fierce beauty and bold purpose. We will not be erased. We will rise and we will shine. Our affirmation, I am radiant with sacred defiance. I carry the fire of my ancestors. I rise with love and truth, and I will not be moved. And so it is. Amen. And we thank Marsha P. Johnson and the beautiful spiritual legacy her and all of our divine guardian saints bring us, and those who are fighting for justice now in our community, and you who are watching, who are fighting with your sacred love and sacred defiance to protect all in our community and restore balance. Thank you. Thank you for tuning in, and thank you for being a part of this healing journey. Our Nature of Miracles reading this week, our passage from the Nature of Miracles, page XV. I write to those who are seekers, who want to have more and more deep experiences that assure them of the divine presence in their life. We are most certainly not alone in this journey here on earth. An affirmation from page 20. I am never alone. I am always connected to divine guidance and protected by love. And so it is. Amen. Our spiritual message this week, titled The Prophetic Fire Protecting Truth and Life. So excited to be bringing this series to a close and sharing this final message in this powerful series. So, beloveds, as we journey and have this sacred exploration through the prayer, the prophecy, and the power, and today we arrive at the fire, the prophetic fire. This is not the fire of destruction, my friends, but the fire of illumination, the fire that rises when truth is in danger, when love is silenced, when the visionary is pushed from the tower. So let me tell you a story. Some time ago, during a remote viewing session, I saw a man, a brilliant man, falling. He was pushed, not just physically, but spiritually. There was silence around him, a holy stillness. I didn't know who he was at first, but I felt his soul speak. And that was a second remote viewing that I did of the story that I'm going to tell you. So His spirit whispers, "Protect what I could not finish." Later, I discovered his name, Dr. Alexander Kagansky, a Russian biologist who dedicated his life to healing, to studying cancer, and to uncovering how the body regenerates through biodiversity and epigenetics. In December 2020, he was found dead, having fallen from a high-rise window in Vladivostok, Russia. The story was quickly buried, his voice silenced, but spirit would not let it go. In that moment, I knew he had become a message, a martyr of truth, and a prophet for this hour. Because, beloveds, the war we face is not just against our bodies, it is against our identities and our rights. It is a war against truth itself. And truth, real truth, is dangerous to those who thrive on control. So look around. Queer and trans bodies are legislated out of existence. Scientists are silenced. Prophets are dismissed. And visionaries are erased. But we are still here. We are the survivors. But more than that, we are the protectors. And so in this story, I'm going to share with you what I saw in September of 2020. And this is a practice that I've had for over 20 years, but my spiritual practice spans over 30 years with channeled writing, remote viewing, feng shui, Reiki, many different tools and techniques as part of a spiritual practice, spiritual awakening, and spiritual experience. And I was flying to Indianapolis to see a friend, and I thought to myself, I wonder if my remote viewing is somehow better up here, at 30,000 feet. And I'd never tried it while I was flying before. Now I have followed a technique by author Dick Sutphin, who's now passed. He has a wonderful 30-minute remote viewing technique that takes you into deep relaxation and then to be able to have intuitive inspiration from that. And so what I do is called by different names. It could be remote viewing, a form of ESP, clairvoyance, somewhat of an astral travel or astral projection, many different names. But it is surely a spiritual practice that anyone can learn and do with increasing ability with practice. And so I went into my session, and it lasted about 30 minutes. And right away afterwards, I wrote down everything I saw. My goal at the time was to find out the truth of the coronavirus, and was it man-made or was it naturally occurring? And so in my remote viewing session, and now this whole story is online in our blog section with all of the details and additional information of the spiritual symbolism and everything that came out of that. It was one of the most powerful, if not at that moment, the most powerful remote viewing session I'd ever done, with intense pinpoint accuracy of what I saw that was later confirmed. And so in my remote viewing, I saw there was a boardroom, not very big, maybe 20 or 30 feet long, and there was a long wooden table there, and there were several figures around the table. Included in that room, there was President Trump. He was the president at the time. And then also, I remember seeing 4 stars and an eagle. I later found out that that's a 4-star general of the Air Force, which I believe may have been the recently retired, I think, chief of staff. But I don't know the faces of the others because they don't follow politics really. But there was a representative from China, Ukraine, and Russia. Now, all of them were meeting unbeknownst to their own governments. Now, let me make a little disclaimer. Some of what is seen in remote viewing can be symbolic. It can be telling of a story that may have happened or was happening in real time. That's possible. So I'll leave it up to you for interpretation. And when I tell you what happened at the end, you make the decision for yourself if you believe it or you think, oh my goodness, that's crazy. That could have never happened. But this is only one of about 100 such instances just like this that I will share with you in volume 2 of The Nature of Miracles. And some of this is in the current blog post. And why it's relevant to the URF is it is so important for us to develop ourselves spiritually, to awaken our third eye or intuitive guidance so that we can be connected with each other, with the greater world, with our purpose, our spiritual purpose and reason for being. And we don't want anything to get in the way of that or take that away so that we fall asleep, spiritually speaking. We need to wake up spiritually, and for those who are suffering from spiritual amnesia, also to help awaken them as well, because within that we will discover the principle and virtue of unconditional love as the greatest healer for ourselves, for our country, for our world, for our families, for the universe. And so I saw this table, and then all of the people around, they were meeting unbeknownst to their own country. And I saw one dossier on the table, and it said a highly classified coronavirus, COVID-19, top secret, NWO, New World Order. And I got a sense of what was happening, and that the virus itself was released in Wuhan purposely, and that this was part of a greater manipulation of world financial markets. Also, the virus and the vaccine itself were to do the same thing and have the same effect, to affect the endocrine system, to target those who are immunocompromised and the elderly, to thin and cull the population to a point. And also, part of it was to cause damage to the pineal gland, which is here in the third eye, where we are connected and get our intuitive guidance, very similar to what I do. If my pineal gland was damaged or calcified, it would impair my ability to do remote viewing. And also it impairs the kind of spiritual or intuitive sense that a mother might have or a father might have if their child is in danger. They get a sense, and all of a sudden they find out it was true. Something had happened just moments before, or as it was happening. The same with family and friends and those who are very close to. You may be thinking about somebody, all of a sudden they call with the damage to that particular gland and area and chakra. It prevents that from happening. So this is what I saw in there, in this remote viewing. I usually get very intense visualizations and very symbolic imagery. And then a name came to me, and it was Sasha. And this was the name, all I knew was a name of a research scientist, male or female, I wasn't sure. But all I knew is that this person, whoever they were in grave danger. I had a sense of imminent grave danger. And it's not the first person that I had either remote viewing or a dream or a sense about that was in danger. That was found to be true later. And that this person was in danger for the research they were doing on a COVID-19 vaccine. All I know is that they were to create the world's safest vaccine. That's all I knew. And so then my remote viewing session ended. I wrote everything down. I didn't really share it with anybody because it was highly sensitive information at the time. And what are you going to do? Oh, hi, CIA, FBI, Homeland Security. I just want to let you know I did a remote viewing session, and I saw, the president, and I saw these other people from other countries, and there's a scientist in danger. They would have either put me on a list and come knocking on my door to see if, what I knew, or I would have ended up in the deleted file or into the trash bin of, just another crazy lunatic, who has these crazy fancy ideas about things. Often these kind of perceptions and spiritual intuitions or remote viewing are often disregarded by many, but there's really something there, and I will share that with you, and you can make your own estimation at the end. And so I told one friend who was a spiritual mentor, and I wondered why had I received this information? What am I going to do about it? All I could really do was just pray. I prayed for the safety of Sasha, whoever they were, hoping they would be okay. And then I realized what I needed to do. And in my business, in the beauty business that I'm in and wellness, I came up with ways to boost and improve the immune system, to help the endocrine system, to help the pineal gland and the third eye with ion detox baths, essential oil blends, everything we could do to protect others from the damage that would come from the coronavirus itself and the vaccine. And what I got a sense of is that the coronavirus and the vaccine itself, that the damage would not affect everybody. There was many who had natural immunity, but also that was not expected. They did not expect so many people to have natural immunity. Also, the 6 feet apart was a way to separate people, to cause separation and division. That was another part of that. Everyone has to make their own choice. Some people felt that they must have this vaccine, and for them it was maybe the only thing they could think of doing that they hoped would save their life if they got the coronavirus or keep them from getting it. And so I went online and I searched. I couldn't find Sasha. I put in Sasha, research scientist. I tried to find somebody, but nothing came up for months. And I sat on that, information while I was helping people in my business and only sharing it with those who were spiritually conscious and aware and who could accept it and appreciate the story. And after a few months went by, I found Sasha. And it was about 3 to 6 months later, maybe it was somewhere in between January and March. Okay, just a moment. Oh, it looks like our TikTok has ended for some reason. Okay, let me see if I can get us back online there. I'm not sure. Well, somehow we're not on. We got a listing on TikTok there, but that's okay. We have our YouTube and we have our Facebook. So I'll go and look at the TikTok later. And so that's what I saw. And it was about 4 or 5 months later, I saw an article that said Dr. Sasha Alexander Kagansky supposedly had stabbed himself, threw himself off a 14-story balcony in Russia and fell to his death. Now, he was out celebrating his birthday, December 19th, with his best friend from childhood. And I was shocked. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe what I had read. And I checked online for several papers, and that's what I saw. And so then I realized that my remote viewing was completely accurate. And so I did a little research, and I found out that he was a epigenetist. I worked with biodiversity, and he was working with natural cures for many things. He also worked with children, and he was trying to negotiate a contract out of Russia. He wanted out of there back to Edinburgh University. And I did make contact with one of his associates that I found in a documentary, who confirmed much of what I saw and didn't believe that Sasha had done that to himself. And so what a revelation. What do you do with that kind of information? And so I think it's very important that the truth is out there, that we must have the truth. Whether it comes through a dream, a divine inspiration, some actual experience physically that we've been a part of, but the truth must come out, or if it comes out in a remote viewing. And so that was my experience, and that's why we're talking about Dr. Sasha Alexander Kagansky. You can look him up, you can look at the work that he was doing. And here's the little caveat of how it was very personal to me. Not only did Sasha fall from this apartment where he was celebrating his birthday the night before, but he died on December 19th, which is also my birthday, and he was born in 1975, the year I was born. So him and I both share a birthday and a year, and I believe that was part of our deeper spiritual connection. And I had seen the danger that he was in for the research that he had, because he was to be developing the world's safest vaccine, and not with all the harmful fillers. Of course, we know that later that the Sputnik vaccine came out, and that there were other vaccines that came out. And so I don't believe that his made it to market. But so, that is something, I share that because that is part of my spiritual practice and intuition. And it leads us actually to where we're at now. Here we are, 2025. And I'm not advocating for anyone to get or not get a vaccine. You must decide for yourself. And I also don't believe in spreading any kind of misinformation. But I do believe in listening to spiritual intuition and guidance. And if you look back over millennia of spiritual text, religious writings, and scriptures, you'll see many who have brought a prophetic vision or dream or something very important that later turned out to be true. And those who listen would have benefited from that, and those who didn't may have suffered greatly. So I invite you to our blog post to read more about that particular vision. And so just know that we are the survivors, but more than that, we are the protectors. And let me read from the Nature of Miracles. I write to those who are seekers of truth, who want to have more and more deep experiences that assure them of the divine presence in their life. We are most certainly not alone in this journey here on earth, from page XV. So my friends, this is the divine fire I speak of, not the fire of rage, but the fire of divine presence, the fire that wakes us when the world sleeps, the fire that says, no more silence, not on my watch. Today we call upon Divine Guardian Saint Aureon, the divine transgender warrior of justice. Aureon stands with those who are pushed, silenced, and betrayed, and rises again to protect the seers, the scientists, the sacred truth bearers of the world. Let me ask you, what will you protect? What truth lives in you that the world tried to extinguish? What fire are you willing to carry forward? Let the spirit of Dr. Kagansky light a torch in your soul today. Let Aureon strengthen your spine and clear your voice. Let your prayer become prophecy, and your prophecy become protection. We are not just meant to survive in this world, we're here to transform it. And we do not do this alone. I am never alone. I am always connected to divine guidance and protected by love, from the Nature of Miracles, page 20. And so let this be your affirmation tonight. Let this be your vow. I am the fire that protects truth. I walk in power. With love as my shield, I speak what others silence. And I rise with those who have fallen. So let us rise, let us protect, let us walk with power, because the fire lives in you, and it is sacred. And so it is. Amen. So thank you for letting me share that story with you. It's kind of a, long and short story. There's the whole portion from September 2020. I later did another remote viewing to find out what really happened, and I got more information. This full story is coming out in The Nature of Miracles, Volume 2, and much of this can be seen on our blog post as well, along with other spiritual intuitions and many miracles in which I will share with you. And so it's time for the truth to be revealed for those who have ears to hear. And so let's see what we're doing next. We have our children's message. And for all of our children and young people watching, our message to you today: even when people try to hide the truth, the light always finds a way. And our affirmation: I shine with truth and love. I shine with truth and love. And let us take all of this into our guided meditation. Everything that we have spoken about and the special moment of accessing our intuitive guidance and turning on our intuition. We'll be listening to the harmony of light, remote viewing the future. Our guided meditation today is inspired by Dick Sutphin's remote viewing practice, spiritual opening to truth through our third eye and inner knowing, and encountering with the spirits of Marsha P. Johnson, Dr. Kagansky, and Saint Aureon. We're going to vision the future over the next 4 years together with a world of healing, safety, and justice. And our affirmation as we go into meditation is: I see the future with divine clarity. I am a vessel of truth. I rise with the prophets. And so just take a deep breath in, close your eyes, and exhale slowly. Get comfortable in your seat where you're at now, and just allow the space around you to soften. Allow the weight of the world to melt off your shoulders. Feel your body rooted to the earth. Feel your spirit open to the sky. You are safe here. You are seen. You are sacred. Now bring to mind a gentle flame flickering in front of you. This is the fire of truth. This is the light of Marsha P. Johnson, the revolutionary of love. This is the fire that never went out, not in the streets of Stonewall, not in the windows of silence where truth was pushed. This is the fire of Aureon, Divine Transgender Warrior of Justice. This is the flame of the seer, the healer, the visionary, Dr. Alexander Kagansky, whose truth could not be buried. Now gently move your awareness inward. We begin our remote viewing journey. Let your third eye, the center of your forehead, open gently. The space between your eyebrows, a window into divine vision. As Dick Sutphin taught, we enter a relaxed alpha state. To see not with our eyes, but with our soul. I will count backwards slowly from 10 to 1. With each number, imagine you are traveling into the sacred future. Not a fantasy, but a possible path that your higher self and divine want to show you now. 10, 9, 8. You relax deeper. You move beyond the noise. 7, 6. You step into a golden corridor, the hall of truth. 5, 4. Light surrounds you, peace fills you. 3, 2, 1. You arrive in the future 4 years from now. See what is there. Look around. Who is with you? What has been healed? What battles were necessary? And what miracles emerged? You are not alone. You look beside you. Marsha smiles. A flower crown on her head, she says. You didn't give up. Aureon stands guard, tall and blazing with divine fire. They say, your courage changed history. Dr. Kagansky appears, whole, filled with light. He says, thank you for protecting the truth. You look around and see LGBTQ plus youth are safe. Trans joy is sacred. Trans joy is celebrated. Science and spirit walk hand in hand. The church you helped build is still standing, stronger than ever. You see healing. You see light. You see yourself whole, radiant, powerful. And now we gently return to this time and space. I will count from 1 to 5 as you return to waking awareness, bringing your vision back with you. 1, 2, your body awakens. 3, 4, your spirit returns with peace. 5, you are fully present and forever changed. Our affirmation. I see the future with divine clarity. I am a vessel of truth. I protect the flame. I walk with the prophets. I rise with the saints. Repeat aloud or silently to yourself. I see the future with divine clarity. I am a vessel of truth. I protect the flame. I walk with the prophets. I rise with the saints. Let this be your practice this week. Return to this vision when you feel lost. Know that the future is not fixed, but you are the one who shapes it with sacred fire. And just take that in. And you can listen to this over and over again whenever you need a boost. And let's just take in that affirmation as we listen to our new song, I Am the Fire Protecting Truth.
I saw the silence fall like stone, a voice cut off, a soul alone. But deep inside, a spark remained, the kind of truth that can't be chained. They tried to push the prophets down, to drown the healers, steal their crowns. I lift my voice, I stand up tall. With every heartbeat, I heed the call. I am the fire burning bright. I rise for truth, I shine for light. No fear can break the voice I own. I speak for those the world disowns. But spirit walks where truth won't die. I lift my torch and testify. With every tear, stand my ground. In the darkest night, I still stand proud. I face the storms, strength and grace. For justice lives in every place. With every heartbeat, I heed the call. The fire within ignites us all. I am the fire burning bright. I rise for truth, I shine for light. No fear can break the voice I own. I speak to those the world disowned. For Marsha, for Kick and Sky, for every silence, soul we rise. In unity, we'll find our way. Together in truth, we won't disguise. I am the fire burning bright. I rise for truth, I shine for light. No fear can break the voice I own. I speak to those the world disowned.
I speak for those who the world disowned. So thank you. What a beautiful song. I am the fire protecting truth. Know that you are the fire protecting truth. Tonight, today, and every day going forward. And now we have a special quarterly ministry reflection of all that we have achieved from March 31st to June 30th. And we have been busy here at the Universal Rainbow Faith. Since our historic launch on Transgender Day of Visibility, March 31st, URF Church has become a living spiritual movement rooted in radical love, sacred truth, and creative power. With your help and you showing up every single week with us or watching when you can. And that's from March 31st to July 6th, we have achieved a lot. Know that we are activating the rainbow light of love. We have 13 full live stream worship services on TikTok, YouTube, and Facebook. 13 original worship anthems premiered one each week. 13 guided meditations, each aligned with our spiritual themes. Dozens of affirmations, prayers, and channeled writings shared. 18 published blog articles exploring theology, healing, LGBTQIA+ liberation, justice, and miracles. 2 saints newly canonized, including Saint Aureon, the Divine Transgender Warrior of Justice. A 52-week service calendar and sacred observances published. A full Canva visual suites with the graphics and lyrics, meditations, announcements, and events. Our Universal Rainbow Faith website launched and expanded regularly. Religious exemption documents and sacred health rights doctrine drafted. And books in the final stages, The Nature of Miracles Volume 2 and The Garden and the Flame coming soon. Spiritual themes we have explored. Our monthly services and series have been visionary, powerful, and deeply healing, said by you, our viewers. In March, we have the Sacred Light of Visibility, celebrating divine identity and queer spiritual authority. April, The Nature of Miracles, with channeled wisdom, divine presence, and the sacred power and faith. May, The Sacred Price of Belonging, healing spiritual rejection and reclaiming holy worth. June, We Pay Too, our Pride series, demanding justice, honoring saints, and proclaiming sacred joy. Each weekly service has included saint reflections and canonizations over time, readings from the Nature of Miracles, guided meditations and affirmations, original live music, and children's messages and offerings. Our original music ministry, we have written and recorded and premiered 13 original URF worship anthems, including We Are Sacred Still, I Will Not Hide, Wholeness in the Fire, Sacred Flame Rising, I Am the Fire, Protecting Truth, Rising in the Light, Embracing the Flame Together, and more every Sunday. These songs have become a spiritual soundtrack and a revolution of love. Our weekly meditations, each week we have led visionary spiritual practices, including the Garden of Truth, Becoming the Light, Sanctuary of the Self, Remote Viewing, Seeing the Future Through the Fire, and the Harmony of Light meditation. Every meditation activates healing, inner wisdom, and sacred connection. and our impact. Through personal stories, chat messages, and spiritual transformation, the community has said, "This is the first time I felt safe in a church. I thought I had lost my faith. URF brought me back. You made me believe God loves all of me. Your music healed parts of me I didn't even know were hurting." Friends, URF is more than a ministry. It's a sacred sanctuary and community for the silenced and the seeking. And what's next? Quarterly 2 preview, The Garden and the Flame, coming soon, The Nature of Miracles, Volume 2, and URF 52-week study guide. We have a podcast we are looking at, and our global expansion via caption and translated video content, our children's ministry program, weekly devotionals and email guidance, and a first full URF worship album coming soon. And our final blessing. To every viewer, singer, blog reader, supporter, and seeker of truth, you are URF. You are the light we carry forward. Together, we are building not just a church, but a prophetic movement of divine affirmation, musical healing, and spiritual power. And thank you. So we have been very, very busy. Okay. Our service went a little longer today because we had some special readings and announcements. That always happens when we are talking about one of our saints. And so, my friends, it looks like we are now at our time of tithes and offerings. And just know that your support of URF with a weekly gift of love is what keeps this ministry going. You can give at universalrainbowfaith.org/give on our homepage or donate tab. Know that we are building a new world rooted in love, justice, and healing. And we thank you for each and every contribution you are able to make, and also to get the word out to a greater and greater audience, to all in our community. You can become a member of URF while practicing any faith and religion that you have, or none at all, that we are open to everyone. And we ask you and invite you that you don't have to believe as we do, you don't have to be as we do, but you can experience what we have to offer, and you can be here to be a part of this. And in that, we can be in community together and in unconditional love together. Connect with us on TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram. We ask you to like, share, and follow. We do appreciate that. And so our closing blessing, our affirmation. I walk in fire and love. My truth is sacred. I go in peace. And enjoy our closing song today, our original anthem, Embracing Togetherness. And stick around afterwards for a minister meet and greet. I'll be online for a few minutes to check your messages and to answer any questions you may have. Hopefully we'll be able to communicate that way. And I thank you for joining us this evening and look forward to seeing you again next week. And I hope you enjoy all of what is available on the universalrainbowfaith.org, especially on our blog post. And thank you for getting the word out. And don't forget, if you haven't already, pick up your copy of The Nature of Miracles. I have a beautiful workbook that's coming out with this. We have a 52-week study guide as well, and just beautiful spiritual support, prayers, affirmations, journals, channeled writing. And I hope you enjoy that. Please follow me online on Amazon as an author, Paula Sadler. And please make a review. I invite you to read and make a review on how The Nature of Miracles is touching your life. In every color we unite, together we shine, bring the light through stormy weather, through the pain, with open hearts, we'll break the chains. It's you and me, we'll stand so tall in the rainbow's embrace, we'll never fall. Hand in hand, we'll share those dreams, a tapestry of life woven at the seams. With every hue of voices strong, together as one, where we all belong. It's you and me, we'll rise above in the rainbow's embrace. We spread our love in every corner of the earth. We sing a symphony of hope and unity brings. With every color, let our love soar together as one, forevermore. Thank you. Hope you enjoyed that, and I hope you're learning the words and you are singing along. You can play it in your car, at home, anywhere. Just get on YouTube or TikTok and listen away. And so now we have our time for our minister meet and greet, and I'm coming right over there to sit closer with you all. I'm so excited. And let's see, we're going to turn our camera around so I can see your comments, and give us a second to change the orientation here. Okay, wonderful. There we are. So let's see who we can see. Okay, hello, hello, hello. There we go. Welcome, welcome everybody. Hello. Okay, now is your time. Make use of every moment that you have. Okay, I think that we can answer questions possibly. Let's see. Okay, so I think you can send messages. I'm not exactly sure, but well, what a great service today. I'm so glad that you joined, and for those who will watch this later, we did have a little issue with TikTok. It looks like there was some issue, and my live got revoked as I was talking about Dr. Kagansky and all that was happening. So some kind of violation, who knows, as they were listening in. But, you know, whatever will be, will be. The truth must get out there. And it's the truth as I see it. And also, not just as I see it, but as it was proven. And spiritual work is not often valued, and especially intuitive work. Those in the New Thought movement, those who have honed their psychic or intuitive abilities are often overlooked. Some people look at modern day mystics or seers or people who have tuned in to their either their ESP type abilities, clairvoyance, clairaudience, all those kind of things. They're seen as somewhat, on the fringes, and a bit crazy even, and unbelievable. But I ask you to ask yourself this: have you ever witnessed a miracle? Something that you cannot explain. It just seemed absolutely impossible. Maybe it happened to you. Maybe it happened to a friend. Maybe you didn't believe it at first. Or maybe it was so powerful and something happened to you in a way that you could not believe it. So, do you believe in miracles? Do you believe in the divine? Do you believe that we're here all alone with no assistance from a beautiful and loving creator that created these beautiful and perfect bodies, this amazing planet, this vast universe and galaxies beyond of what we know scientifically? But what has inspired you spiritually? Have you seen into the beyond? Have you had dreams? Have you had visions? Do you have intuitions that you've shared with others or waiting to be shared with the world? And if you do, and you don't share them, what if somebody doesn't live because of that or suffers greatly because of that? So we hone our ability and our skill through prayer, affirmation, visualization, meditation, as I share with you in my book, The Nature of Miracles, my journey of awakening at 24 years old and through 26 at the time. But it culminated, it was over many years of spiritual practice. So a thought came to me this past week, and that was to live unapologetically and to share my spiritual gifts and truths as I see them unapologetically, but also with humility and also with discernment, making sure that what I'm sharing is actually going to help and not harm. And with my story that I shared earlier, it was very important for me to get that message out because none of us know how long we're going to be here on the planet. I don't know truly all of what God plans for me. If I'm to live even one more day, I may be very blessed to have many more days and many more years. But what if I don't? And what if I leave this planet without sharing the most beautiful part of myself and my gifts that I've been intuitively guided to share to help others to awaken? What I've seen in the past months, and it's over many years' time, reminds me that there are many who are spiritually asleep on this planet. I believe many are suffering from a spiritual amnesia, is what I call it. They're not awakened yet to the most vital and animating active force within themselves, to the divine, to their higher self, and they are just asleep at the wheel. And not only that, they are afraid of people like me and also of what I do. So it's very important, I think, that we listen to our intuition. And for me, I don't want to die without having sung my song. No matter what happens going forward, I know that so many who came with a spiritual message of love were crucified and beaten and vilified and demonized and ostracized by so many who claim to be religious or virtuous or know of love and know of some God, whatever they call their power. And that is the true sadness for humanity. And that makes me so sad. And I wish it weren't true. But there's a reason why each of us is here. There's a reason why you're here viewing tonight. There's a reason why most recently the Universal Rainbow Faith has emerged and become an online presence. We're streaming and sharing. I was called into action because I don't know how much time I have, and I want to use every precious moment of life that I have. I have even dedicated my sleeping time. I've prayed and affirmed about it that I want to use that in my dreaming time to be helpful to others, spiritually or however. And so for me, every single moment is an opportunity to be of service to humanity and to others. So I hope that these messages will reach all who need it. And if you know someone who is suffering and who also couldn't imagine receiving spiritual guidance or inspiration for someone like myself, a transgender woman living in Las Vegas, as they call it, Sin City, But, what is the real sin in the world that we see? Sin is an archery term that means missing the mark. And if we look around, all we have to ask ourselves is, especially with what's happening with transgender people right now, I want you to think about a tiny baby. I thought about this morning or yesterday morning, and I wrote about it. And I thought about an innocent, beautiful baby coming into the world, free from hatred and anger and all these things. And let's say they're born to parents who wear red hats, who are evangelical Christians, who are MAGA supporters. I just use that as an example. And the baby begins to grow up, and they love this baby so much. It's such a beautiful baby. And as the young child develops, about 3, 4, maybe 5 years old, it senses that it's different than its family. And there's nothing particular on television or in social media or pop culture that they see. Maybe they don't even allow that kind of stuff. They highly regulate everything for this child, and they go to church, and they've accepted Jesus Christ as their Lord and Savior, and it's just everyone is getting along. But something is different about this child through no fault of their own. And there's been no way for anyone to influence this beautiful, innocent child. And then about puberty, they began to sense they're terribly different, but if anyone knew, that they would not be safe. And they felt so much shame and guilt because their parents would talk about others maybe at this point, and demonize them and tell them they're sinning or they're abominations, and that those kind of people go to hell, and that Jesus doesn't accept them or God doesn't love them. And they teach them hatred and prejudice and bigotry, not only where gender is concerned or lifestyle, but also to people who are different. What happens to that beautiful, innocent child? Where can they go to? Where can they turn to? What do you think should happen in that situation? So, we have many children who are in that very situation, who are living in a time now when they're facing a government who doesn't believe they have a right to exist, who have criminalized who they are, who they will become, through no fault of their own. That is the injustice that we're seeing, and that will cause countless deaths, intense suffering. And here's a question that, whether you're evangelical, you're an atheist, somewhere in between, I think here's the measuring stick and how we decide and how we have discernment over really what is right and what is wrong, and not based on any biblical or religious teaching. If somebody chooses to wear certain kinds of clothing, maybe they're either very masculine or they're feminine or they're somewhere in between. Maybe they wear makeup, maybe they don't. Is clothing and makeup and this self-expression the cause of the troubles in the world? Is it causing death and destruction? Is it a violent act that is harming others? If that child, if that young adult, if that adult, whoever they are, when they express this authentic, beautiful part of themselves, if it brings them joy, if it brings them happiness, if they smile, if they're able to live in the world and look at the world in the eye and say, this is who I am, and in that be able to fulfill their life purpose of what they came here to be, what they came here to do, is that causing the world to be a better place? Is that the cause, and is that bringing more love into the world? We truly have to ask ourselves, who and what is harming this world? And I will leave you with that, and I thank you for joining. And I invite you to be a warrior of justice and truth and the principle of unconditional love today, tomorrow, and all of your affairs, and to make sure that you are living your life fully 100%, and you are bringing love into this world, and you are encouraging others to be their most authentic and beautiful self that they came here to be, in the face of all opposition, in the face of certain death and even destruction. To thine own self be true. We must fulfill our purpose for being here, no matter what. I'm doing that, and no matter if I'm able to get back on TikTok live again or not, I will continue to share the message and broadcast the message to those who have ears to hear. Blessings, my friend. Namaste, and I will see you next week. Thank you for joining.